Okay, so welcome to another video. Welcome again. Happy New Year 2025. I hope the year has been going well for you. I hope you've been enjoying, the benefits of such an awesome time. And I hope you've been taking the right measures to get the best out of this new year. These are just the first throes of the year. It's a marathon and it's not a sprint, so it is necessary for us to pace ourselves. We don't get too hyped and pumped at the very first few weeks of the year, and then by the time the year is running to an end, we are losing steam. When I was younger, I would always watch some long distance races, and I always noticed that the people that were leading at the beginning tended to not be the people that won the races. You would find out that there were some people that were put in those races and they were called pace setters. And their only agenda in that race was to make sure that the people running in the race maintained a certain pace all through the race and they could finish strongly. But those people never finished the race. They always used to run out of gas before the race gets to its ending. And this can be the the cycle for some people where they are pumped at the beginning of the year, but by halfway through the year, because there was no proper planning or strategy into what it is that they wanted to do within the year, by the time they get to June, July, August, they're already out of steam and they don't know what exactly they want to do. So I would encourage you, to get yourself together and pace yourself all through the year, even with the grand things that you want to achieve in 2025. So, to this end, there are three things that I want us to discuss in how we can ensure that 2025 is actually a successful year. I want us to look at these three things, and in looking at these three things, we'll be able to see how we can make sure that when we get to the end of 2025, we are glad, we are happy, we are full of joy, and we are talking about the good things that we were able to achieve. So these three things are very vital for us to get into what we want to receive in 2025. So this let's just go through them briefly. And the first of those three things that we must do to get the best out of 2025 is that we must be willing to take risks. you know, if you are unwilling to take risks in 2025, even just with the general landscape of the world right now, there doesn't seem to be anything like a grand safety net. A few years ago there were some things that if you do this thing, you're guaranteed to at least have a job. You're guaranteed to at least have a sort of life. But in the rapidly changing world that we find ourselves now, it is very likely that what we thought was safe before is not so safe now. And also, there's a very high possibility that what is safe now will not be safe in the next couple of months, because the world just seems to be moving at a breakneck speed. And to this end, if you are not willing to take some certain risks on what looks at this very moment not too sure, but you have done your research, you have done your work, you have laid the groundwork, and then you are about to take a step. These are the things that are necessary for us to be able to get the best out of these things, because every single great man that you see in the world today, they had to take a punt on something. They had to put themselves out there in a place where a lot of the time people were resisting them. They were telling them, no, this thing is not possible, you're giving up so many base things, and you just want to pursue what some people would call a pipe dream. And yet now we find out that those people are some of the most successful people and the most famous people in the world, because they dared to dream, because they dared to take a risk. So if we're planning to play 2025, I know maybe 2024 was a bit hard for you, and some of the things you tried, some of them didn't work out. It's fine to put a little bit more consideration into the things that you're going to be doing. And we're going to talk about risks specifically, going into the month. But I want to also tell you that if you are unwilling to take risks, then also means that you're unwilling to stand out. You're unwilling to be a success. You're unwilling to be like a beacon of light to people, because it's only people that are willing to take risks that are also going to get some of the best rewards from what it is that they do. You know, a farmer, when he goes to the farm, he's unsure about every one of those seeds that he's going to plant, whether all of them will mature. But he takes the risk of going out and tossing his seeds, planting them, whatever pattern of planting that he has, you know. But when he plants those seeds, he puts some work into it to make sure that those things that he has planted actually have the ability to manifest. So when I say take risks, I don't just mean, just do whatever. What I'm actually trying to say is that when you do these things, when you take these risks, you also take the right precautionary measures. You also do the right amount of research, and you also nurture those things that you have put in place to ensure that they bear you fruit. Right. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about as to how we are going to make 2025 a success. In some cases, some people would have said that this should have been the first thing, but no, let's just go. The next thing we have to look at is that you must have a vision or a goal to pursue. Amen. You must have a reason, a vision, or a goal to pursue. If you have no vision or goal that you are pursuing, I can guarantee you that 2025 is not going to be a good year for you. Having a focus or having something that, fills your heart, fills your mind, fills your imagination, it really helps you to be able to, sow all the aspects of your life into making sure that that thing, bears fruits for you. There are some people that they are consumed by their craft, they are consumed by their skill, they are consumed by their job, their pursuit, and every single thing about them seems to revolve around that particular thing. And because of that single-minded focus, they seem to be bearing results that are far beyond other people, even in the same field as they are, because they have made that thing their singular pursuit. It's almost like, like a gravity well, or the sun, right? That's the perfect thing. The sun, how it has all the planets revolving around it in an orbit. That's how all these things around your life can revolve around a particular thing. They are not too close that they are destroyed, but yet somehow they keep moving, and the strength that keeps propelling them in that direction is that central focus. A central focus is necessary for us to be able to get the best out of 2025. So if you have many things that you want to achieve in 2025, find one of those things, right, that can be like a focal point, that can lead to every other thing coming into manifestation. So you might want to become, I don't know, a public figure. Let me use that word. You might want to become a public figure. You might want to become, a financial magnate or something of that nature. Find the one of those things that you know that if you pour all your strength, all your energy, all your mental and emotional resources into that thing, right, it will be able to birth the other realities that surround it. So don't have a scatterbrain approach. Don't have a scatterbrain approach where you're just looking at it like, okay, I'll do this. But when you're saying you're going to do this and this and this, you cannot find how all these things link to each other. You cannot find the chain of birth and growth and birth and growth. You're just trying to have so many things working, and it now puts too much of a strain on your resources. And when I say resources, I don't just mean financial, I also mean emotional, I also mean mental, right? You put so much of a strain on your resources because you're trying to pursue too many things at the same time. But when you have a focus, right? When you have a focus, it helps you to generate some new realities out of that agenda, and ideas and results will just be, flowing out of you, just because you have made something your particular focus, and all these other things just keep flowing out of it. So that's the second thing that we must do to be successful in 2025. We must have a vision or a goal to pursue. There are many ways that we can capture visions and goals. Some expanding on some of our skills. The dreams that we see even while we sleep. Some of our imaginations and fantasies. These are some of the things that can give us an inkling as to the things that we can set as visions or goals for our lives. Sometimes we play down the power of our imagination, but our imaginations are so integral for us to be able to achieve some certain results. Sometimes it's good to just sit down and dream. It's good to plan, it's good to put so many things in place, it's good to have the structures and everything, but sometimes what you need is just to sit down and dream and fantasize and allow your mind to run wild about the possibilities, because sometimes it is in that moment that somehow God chips in the pathway for you to get to where you're supposed to be. So yes, you must have a vision or a goal to pursue. And the final thing that we'll be discussing today for how we're going to make 2025 a success is that we must not relent or accept near misses and half measures. See, this is something that we must understand, that 2025, like 2024, 23, 22, 21, up until whatever year we were born, right, will have challenges. Challenges are a norm in life. Yeah. So if you are looking to step into easy street, thinking maybe there was a promise, there's a promise coming into the year. This is the year of great advancement, and you think everything is just going to go without challenges. I am here to tell you sorry ahead of time, because that thing is not going to happen that way. There will always be challenges, because for goals to have a meaning, there must be a resistance. Can you imagine being in a football match or any sort of sports competition, and then the opponent that you're meant to be playing against just they just stand away and say, well, if you want to score, score. It takes the excitement out of actually achieving those things. I'd seen a video once where a particular football team was protesting against some sort of injustice. So what they did was they allowed the opposing team to score about 200 and something goals against them in the span of 90 minutes. So they'll do kickoff and just kick the ball into their own net. Kick off, kick the ball into their own net. 200 and something goals that happened in that match. An insane amount of goals. But because there was no competition, there was no excitement when the team was scoring those goals. You see what I mean? If there is no resistance, it takes the joy out of victory. It takes the joy out of victory. So there is a necessity for resistance for you to enjoy the thing that you are going to get. For you to be glad about the testimony, for you to be glad about the increase, for you to be glad about the breakthrough, for you to be glad about anything that you're going to receive in 2025, it must be on the backdrop that there was some sort of resistance. That when you were walking on that path, you saw that there were some things that looked like they were going to limit your advancement. But through your strategy, through your thoughts, through your prayers, through all the things that you planned to do, you now found a way to navigate those limitations. And by navigating those limitations, you were still able to get to your goal. That is what makes your victory so sweet. But we must also understand that these resistances that come are going to push back against us hard. Newton will say, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But if there is a stalemate, you find out that the two objects are not going to be able to advance. So in some way, one thing must overcome the other, even if there's an equal and opposite reaction. But if you want to go through the physics pattern, you'll now be finding out that the equal and opposite reaction is dispersed in different directions. But you are coming in a force. So when you hit what it is that you're hitting, when it is time to push against you, the forces will be deflecting to other directions while you're still advancing. Right? So No, you are going towards your financial goal. There might be things that will come against you in your health, but you have to deflect that to another direction. There might be things that want to come against you in your relationships. You have to deflect that in another direction. There are things that might want to come to you in your mental state, your mental health or emotional state. You have to deflect that in another direction while you press on towards that upward goal. This is the necessity for you in 2025, that you will not allow anything to stop you from getting to where it is you have desire to get to. This is important. If you do not get this particular thing, it will make the first two things seem like they're nothing. Your dreams and your risks that you take, if you will not get to the ending, right, then it's a loss. Let me quote a certain scripture in the Bible. It says, the ones that get to the end, those are the ones that will be saved, not the ones that started the journey. It is only for those that get to the ending. Those are the ones that get the rewards. Those are the ones that are saved. Those are the ones that are celebrated. So if you give up halfway, you will not be celebrated. If you give up halfway, you will not get the joy. So even if for some reason, by some virtue, you do not get to the very tip of the thing that you wanted to get to, maybe you wanted to make $1 million, but you made only 800,000, but you did not stop, you kept on going, you will still be celebrated. You'll be celebrated for not giving up. But the person that got to 100,000 and said this thing is too hard and stopped trying altogether, nobody is going to see him. Nobody is going to see that person. They are going to be hidden and their story will never be told. But the man that got to 800,000 and said, well, I didn't get it, but I'm still going to keep pressing, one day his story will be heard, because he did not allow himself to stop in the face of resistance. So don't accept half measures. Don't do things without putting all of the available efforts that you can put into it. And I can tell you that as you do these three things that we mentioned, that you're going to get the best out of 2025. I'll say these three things again. You must be willing to take risks. You must have a vision or a goal to pursue. And then you must not relent or accept near misses or half measures. Yes, this will make 2025 a success practically. I don't want to get into the spiritual part, but practically, this is what is going to make 2025 a success for you. So if you want to get the best now, start working on these three things, and I'm sure you will end 2025 with a testimony. Yes. So this has been Tamno Priehos for bringing you the word, and I would encourage you to catch up on our other videos linked in the description and also in the thumbnails that you see on the screen right now. God bless you. Have an awesome 2025 and catch you in the next one. Bye bye.